Today's video is going to be episode number 3 of the DMR, or Designated Marksman Rifle series here at Survival on Purpose, where we're taking this Midwest Industries .308 caliber AR and kind of trying to set it up as a designated marksman rifle that has long-term capabilities but is still useful at shorter ranges. And in the first video, if you remember, we took a look at the rifle itself. And the second video, we took a look at this Gunner Thor 2-12 variable power scope that we're gonna check out on this thing. And in today's video, we're gonna take a look at some backup iron sights from my friends at XS Sights. And we're gonna be taking a look at these XS Sights XT12 45-degree backup iron sights. Tell you why I chose these and kind of show you how they work. Coming up next here on Survival on Purpose. Welcome back to Survival on Purpose. My name's Brian. Thanks for joining me for today's video, where, like I said, we're going to take a look at these XS Sights XT12 45-degree offset sights. Talk about why I chose these and why I think it's a good idea to have something like that on a designated marksman rifle. But first, just a little bit of rambling, and we'll get on with the regularly scheduled portions of the video. So several months back, maybe a year or so ago, I don't remember exactly, I decided to start adding a quote from what is inarguably the most famous book in human history to every video. And I'm talking about the Bible, of course. And without fail, almost every video, I get some sort of comment about, I had to click off when I heard you mention the Bible, this, that. So, and I've kind of been letting that go, but I had a comment this week that just kind of, you know what, I thought maybe I just need to go ahead and address the elephant in the room. And the comment was basically something like, I was watching a gun video, and next thing you know, this dude throws a Bible verse up there. I had to click off. So that is something I don't understand. So, and maybe you can help me with this if this is you. I'll be happy to hear your comments below. But I personally believe the Bible is the Word of God. That's me. But if you don't, that's your prerogative. I get that. But whether or not, whatever you believe about its origin or spirituality, it is inarguably one of the most famous books in human history, and it inarguably contains a lot of actual, actionable, common sense wisdom as well. So I'm just always been amazed when somebody that says that obviously doesn't believe that it has any spiritual value, but it still allows it to cause them to get so offended they're going to click off a video just because somebody hadn't mentioned something from the Bible. So if that is the case, I would question, do they really believe it has no spiritual basis, or why does it upset them so much? If that's you, I'd be really interested in hearing your comments below. So that being said, I started with comments from Proverbs because I thought they were pretty innocuous, and yet still they managed to upset people. So I've just decided to go all in and go throughout the Bible getting quotes. And today's quote is from Romans 5:8. But God showed his great love for us by sending Christ to die for us while we were still sinners. So there you go. I think that's some good news and some good words. So that's it for the Bible verse of the day. Now let's talk about XS Sights and these sights. So first of all, a big thank you to my friends at XS Sights for sending me these so I could make them part of this build and demonstrate them and test them and show them to you. XS Sights is a channel sponsor, and I was a paying customer for years before they became so that they really are the only sights I trust my life to on any pistol that I carry. The Glock 19 I've got on my hip right now has XS Sights on it. So having said that, let's talk about why in general you would need some backup sights on a designated marksman rifle. So this thing has a 2-12 variable power optic on it. I could have opted for a higher magnification for distance, but I think 12 power is probably enough. But 2 power is sort of enough for close up, but honestly, if you've got this thing dialed up to 12 and all of a sudden you have to engage the target at closer ranges, you're not going to be able to do it with a 12 power scope. You probably won't be able to do it very well with even a 6 power scope. So I'd rather have some solid iron sights that I can trust my life to, and that's going to be XS Sights for me. And the offset sights allow me to get around the scope, so to speak, with the sight picture. So that being said, I can't show you how to install these because it ain't rocket science, but when I showed how to install this scope on the last video, Google did not like it. YouTube demonetized it. They said it violated all sorts of things, even though I don't think it did, but that's another story. So I'm going to talk about the sights, kind of show you why I like them, give you some close-ups, and explain everything about them to you, and then we'll put them on, and I'll kind of show you a couple other little tips that is really, really, really important to understand if you're using offset sights. So don't leave before the end of the video, because I think that's going to be something you might not have thought of. Alrighty, here are the XS Sights XT12 45-degree offset backup iron sights, and these are made in the USA. They feature a tritium powered front dot, so it has a little tritium vial in here that's going to emit light without any charging or anything, and it's going to give you a good sight picture in low light, surrounded by a white dot. This is available either standard size dot like this one or the big dot. I chose a standard dot just because I thought it might be a little more precise. I may wind up going with the big dot after I try this thing out in the real world. I don't know. And then this is adjustable for elevation. And if you're familiar with that, then if you need to raise your point of impact, you lower the front sight, and vice versa. You want to lower the point of impact. If you're shooting too high, then you raise the front sight. And it's just very simple to do with it. They give you the included sight tool. The rear sights feature their shallow V-notch express sights and has a white stripe with or without the tritium in it, and it's adjustable for windage. And again, just so everybody's on the same page, if you need to move your point of impact to the left, you move your rear sight to the left. So it's the opposite of the elevation on the front sight. You may notice that these are basically an adaptation of their shallow V-notch dot sights for pistols, and with a rifle offset rifle mounting system with them. So I think that's really good because they're super fast as far as getting on target. They're very, very light at 2.02 ounces for the standard dot version and 2.04 ounces for the big dot. So not a lot of waste. They are 6061 T6 aluminum bases. The actual sights themselves are steel, fully ambidextrous. So if you need to put this on right or left, you can just twist these things around. This comes out of the slot and you can turn it around. You can turn your front sight around, whatever you need to do. They bolt right onto your top Picatinny rail on an AR, any kind of rifle like that. And they recommend placing them as far apart as possible so you can get your the best sight radius, of course. And then the kit comes with two sights. Comes with a front sight adjustment tool. It comes with a little tiny Allen wrench so you can adjust the back sight, because I don't know if you can see this on here, which I'll give you a close up. It has little reference marks on here, so you can set your windage pretty easily. And then this one, you just turn it. It's got the same little plunger, just like a standard AR sight. You press that down and it turns. And then it also comes with a little red tube of Loctite. So why don't I get these things on, show you what they look like on the rifle, and then I want to tell you again that one thing I think is really important that you understand, everybody understands about offset sights, that I've only heard one other person really talk about a lot. Alrighty, so there you go. So rear sight here, front sight here. Got a nice long sight radius, close to 2 feet, maybe 20 inches or so sight radius. So that's going to give us a good sight radius. I can look at it here, and I can see that dot very clearly over the line, even with these progressive lens glasses, which if I'm tilting my head down, I'm looking through the top part of them, which is the distance part. So the back side is blurry, but it's still clear enough that I can see that little white stripe. And if I take them off, it's even clearer. But the front sight at this point in time is clear enough. Again, I may reach out and see about changing that to a big dot sight, but as it is right now, I think it's going to be okay. We'll make that determination after we go to the range and sight this in, because that's going to be the one of the final processes when we get everything else built on this thing, is go and sight and scope in properly, sight the iron sights in, and just give it a shake now. I know the rifle works, but I want to make sure all the stuff works with it. So there's one thing I want to tell you about these offset sights, though, that I think is important that everybody understands. And you may already understand this, but I've only heard one other person, I think, talk about it. That's Curtis Hallstrom from the VSO Gun Channel. So I got to give him a credit for bringing this up originally. But as you can see, it's unloaded. The reason I'm telling you that is because I'm about to point this gun at the camera. If that freaks you out, get over it. I don't think anybody's ever been shot through a camera through video. But one thing I want to point out is, when you sight any kind of optic in or sights in, ideally your barrel is directly vertically underneath whatever you're looking through to aim. So you're going to have an offset of some kind. Whatever the vertical distance is between the sight and the center of the barrel, that's going to be an offset. So one thing I want to point out is, if you turn these things on a 45 like this, so can you see the sight now? So the sight is vertical. Can you see the barrel, where the barrel is? The sight's vertical, and the barrel is actually down here a little bit. So it's probably on a 45 degree down because it's a 45 degree sight. So it's down, it's probably 2 inches. So what you're going to want to do when you're sighting this thing in, you don't want your sight to be vertical. You want to twist it until the dot portion of the sight, which is about right there, hopefully you can see that, is vertically over the center of the barrel. And for me, that's somewhere, best I can tell, about here. So this is a 45. You don't want it here. You want it more like about right here. So when you're looking at the sights, you don't see a picture like this. You see the sights like this. That's what you're looking for. You want this thing, whatever it takes for this to be centered over the barrel. And I think it's going to be about this much of an angle right here. Anyway, that's the little tip I wanted to share with you. And that's the XS XT12 45 degree offset sights. I think they're an absolutely great addition to this DMR rifle, and it's almost a no-brainer. If you're going to have a variable powered optic on a rifle that is intended to be both long range and still functional at short range, you got to have some sights on it. And something else that I like about these, and Curtis pointed this out on a video about 5 years ago too, these are fixed. They're not flip up, so you don't have to do, all you have to do to engage these sights is this. You don't have to touch anything, push any buttons, do anything. You just do this and you got it right there. And really what I like about them is, I'm looking through the scope now. If I do this, that sight is right there directly in my path of vision. So a well-designed sight, and just adds more capability short range to the rifle. So stay tuned for upcoming videos. We've got one of the next ones is, I've got a 3.5 pound drop-in trigger from Midwest. I'm going to put in here. We'll check that out. I can't show you on YouTube any kind of installs or modification videos. They demonetized the last video just for showing you how to install a scope. But I'm probably going to make that video with the install on it and put it on my website. So when we get done with it, I think it's going to be a really well set up design for a designated marksman rifle. And that's it. Thanks to XS Sights again for sending me these offset sights so I could test them out, which we're going to do pretty soon. And as always, thank you for watching Survival on Purpose. Remember, survival is not an accident, so be prepared. I'll see you next time.